My name is Jim Brown, and I am serve on the board of advisors for the One of Us Foundation. I'm involved in a range of ways in my community. I serve as the executive director of Arts Council Santa Cruz County. I serve on the board of a nonprofit dance studio here in Santa Cruz that focuses on providing dance education in communities of color. And I'm the parent of three kids that I adopted about 7, 8, 12 years ago. So I think I have always wanted to create positive change. But when I was younger, I kept that interest really just to my closest friends and family. When I discovered the dance community in Santa Cruz more than 20 years ago, that was really what shifted for me. It took me a few years to kind of break through that shyness and really join the community. But once I did, I saw what was possible with positive, creative, authentic self-expression and how that could change people. And that was what inspired me to really get involved in community and especially in the arts. This dance community that I was involved with, we danced at a dance studio called the 418 Project, and that nonprofit organization started to fail. And so the people that I was dancing with, we all got together and we created a council to basically save the organization. And we met almost every week and turned the organization around. We're able to hire an executive director, and that organization is now thriving today. And actually, they just recently bought a building. I think it helped me a great deal. My background is in tech, and I worked in that field for about 15 years. I realized fairly early on that it wasn't really my calling, and it took me a long time to break away, but the breakaway really happened within the dance community. That just completely changed my career trajectory, and I went from being the executive director there to running the LGBT Community Center for about 7 years, and then I worked at our community foundation and now the Arts Council for quite a few years now. The 418 Project has provided a space for people to express themselves through dance for decades now. And now that they've been able to buy their building, it's incredibly stable. They've got a much larger space, and they've really shifted their orientation towards equity to make sure that that people of all different varieties have access to space to perform, to practice, to dance, to teach. When I joined the dance community, I was dancing every Friday evening. The community that danced in the evening was beginning to fade. I had the idea of creating a dance that happened on Sunday mornings. Eventually, one of my friends, she had a class project she had to do. And so she decided to create Dance Church on Sunday morning. So she took the idea that I expressed and she turned it into a project. You know, I've always loved fantasy novels and the idea of magic. And to me, that was the best expression of magic in the real world that I've ever experienced. I simply spoke an idea and it came into being. Dance Church has now been going every Sunday morning for 22 years. And that to me was incredibly inspiring. It shows that, you know, with a little passion and a little creativity, that's almost all you need to make a change in the world. There's always challenges, right, in anybody's life path. I think that the challenges for me was that shyness. I didn't come out of the closet until I was about 26. And so I think that was a real inhibitor. That's what kept me shy and kept me really self-contained. And it wasn't until I found a community like the dance community where I really felt like I belonged and was welcome, and that people accepted me exactly as who I was and cared about me and loved me for who I was, that I really was able to overcome that. I think when I joined as the executive director of the LGBT Community Center, I had to take that shyness and really blast it open to become kind of professionally, publicly gay. I've done a lot of interviews over the years for the television news. I was the director at the community center during the marriage equality fight, and so the TV news was coming to my door every couple of weeks to ask questions and interview me. In that role, I really had to overcome my shyness and run the risk that people might judge me, and still be willing to be completely open and authentic and express who I was to the community. And that was a powerful thing to be able to do that. There was a woman, her name was Julie Oak. She was my first contact improvisational dance teacher, a very silly, freely expressive person, and just being guided and watching her feel comfortable being her full, silly, goofy, fun, playful self really gave me permission to be myself in the same way. I think that I've also had professional mentors. There was a program officer at the Community Foundation, Christina Cuevas, who was always very supportive of me as a leader, but she also was very willing to critique what I was doing. She was very willing to give me constructive feedback. So it was that mix of clarity and support that was really powerful. When I was working at the Community Foundation, we had these tiny little micro grants like potato seeds that we gave to the Gay Straight Alliances in the schools. And what those youth were able to do with those small grants was incredibly inspiring. Sometimes they created materials that they distributed at the school to basically help build a welcoming culture. They held publicity events to basically help people feel safe, bringing themselves into the Gay Straight Alliances. They provided transportation for people from their GSA to participate in the Pride celebrations every year. They had movie nights where they would take people out to the movies, especially when it was a LGBTQ friendly movie. Really made positive change to create more accepting and open school cultures. And so I would probably pick a GSA somewhere in our community and give the money there. I only have one Technoblade moment. That was a video that was shared through the One of Us Foundation, a YouTuber who had partnered with Technoblade, and it was kind of a retrospective. It was just very sweet. It showed to me just how much he touched people in a deep way, the strength of his personality and his playfulness. And anyway, it was a beautiful thing to watch, and it helped me get a sense of who he was.